Dating apps can be a useful tool, but it's certainly not a wise strategy to rely on them entirely. Many men are simply playing the wrong game. They either spend hours a week swiping with little result, or they've given up on dating entirely and still don't know how to meet the kinds of women they would like to meet in the real world. Well, in today's video, I'm going to reveal some of my strategies to meet high-value, high-quality women without the dating apps. Personally, I'm not against dating apps, and I certainly don't have a rule against them. However, I haven't been active on a dating app for around 6 months now, and I've found that the quality of women that I've been able to meet and the quality of the dates that I've been on since I ditched the dating apps has been significantly better. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. First, we have to talk about the reality of modern dating. The truth is, most men on dating apps are pretty much invisible. On a dating app, you are pulled in with thousands, if not millions of other men, all competing for the attention of a smaller group of women. And that's because not only do men significantly outnumber women on dating apps, but women are also just naturally more selective. The result of all of this is that most men feel ghosted and ignored when using dating apps. It often becomes a rather fruitless pursuit, where you may be investing a lot of time and a lot of energy into the dating app, but it's not translating into the kind of real-life dates and the real-life women that you want to get out of it. Overall, this makes it a much more frustrating than fulfilling experience. And that's why many men would be better off instead putting more attention on their real-world dating strategy. If you're an average guy, dating apps will give you access to potentially thousands of women, but they give you no opportunity for leverage. And the abundance of choice, the abundance of women on the dating apps is merely an illusion for most men. That's why the average guy can scroll and swipe for hours, yet receive no matches, while the average looking woman will receive dozens, if not hundreds of matches every single week. Now, do high-value men use dating apps? Yes, sometimes they do. However, they don't rely on them. A very important difference here is that a high-value man may choose to use dating apps as a tool now and then, part of his overall strategy. But the difference between that and the average guy's strategy is that they are really winning in real life. Obviously, a high-value man can get dates online. He can get matches on a dating app. But he doesn't need to, because he has an abundance of opportunities to meet high-quality women out in the real world. Now, we all know that meeting women in real life can seem much scarier and more intimidating than simply meeting them on your phone in the comfort of your own home. But high-value men do things a little differently in the real world in their interactions with women that make them stand out and make them successful. First, they cultivate their presence. Have you ever been around somebody that feels magnetic? They feel warm, they feel charming. All of these attributes contribute to an overall presence. And some of the ways that you can create this presence are with making strong, confident eye contact. If you don't look somebody in the eye, it's almost impossible to make a connection with them. High-value men also stand out with their dress and their grooming. This doesn't mean you have to wear a double-breasted suit like I am, but dress some way that is somewhat elevated from most guys out there. If you're at a bar when everyone is wearing just jeans and t-shirts or polo shirts and sneakers, you can stand out by wearing a jacket or wearing a shirt that's a different color from what everybody else is wearing. To give you an example, a girl that I'm dating right now, I introduced myself to her at a bar while wearing a pair of white trousers, a stone double-breasted jacket, and a pink shirt. I looked like I was in Miami in 1982, not in Chicago in 2025. But ultimately, the way I dressed created a presence that stood out to her. A high-value man also knows how to command his body language to send the right message. A lot of guys, especially when they approach women, they are too high energy, they are too clingy, they create the impression that they need validation, they need to impress the woman. Instead, what's a lot more attractive is if you are simply calm, relaxed, yet approachable and open. And a high-value man masters the art of conversation. So not only the way he looks, but also the words that he says leave a lasting impression. Ultimately, these are all things that are very hard to communicate on a dating app. In person, you can show your depth, your poise, the way you dress, the way you speak, even the way you smell. It all comes across immediately. Whereas on a dating app, these get completely lost in translation. So where should you go to meet high-quality women away from dating apps? You have to think about the type of woman that you would ideally like to meet, and then think about where she might hang out. Some of the more generic recommendations I would make would be a coffee shop, preferably an independent coffee shop, not somewhere generic and cold like Starbucks, but somewhere where regulars go, and somewhere that you can become a regular too. Sit at the counter or sit at a communal table, or simply strike up conversations while you're in line. For me personally, the places where I meet the most women are bars, cocktail bars, lounge type bars, somewhere with a fairly relaxed ambiance, but still a place where people like to go and get dressed up and have a good time. If you're looking for somebody with more of a specialist interest, you could go, for example, to a jazz club or a place where there's a concert. You could go to an independent bookstore where they have events in the evening. Or you can take up a class related to a specific hobby like sailing, painting, drawing, cooking, a language. Whatever interests you want to explore, this is a great opportunity to do that while potentially meeting somebody whose interests are aligned with yours. How do you approach a woman without seeming creepy? If you feel awkward, she will feel it too. You want to make your interaction a warm interaction, a calm interaction, and a brief interaction. For a modern gentleman, it's much better to leave an air of mystery and curiosity rather than bravado and seeking attention or validation. Ideally, you want to make some kind of eye contact with her before going over. The eye contact is a sign from her that she is potentially interested and she is willing and open to you approaching her. Personally, I would not go up to somebody unless we'd already made eye contact. One of the best openers is merely a comment about something in the environment or the situation. But sometimes there really isn't anything for you to comment on and you have to just go in cold. And in that case, a line that does work fairly well would just be something like, I don't really know what to say to you, but I know that I'll kick myself if I don't say something. And then see what she replies to that. That's something I actually said literally just last Saturday, and we ended up going on a couple of dates already since then. So ultimately, what you say as the first line isn't as important as you might think. It's more about getting the conversation going. But very importantly, don't linger around. After 1 to 2 minutes of conversation maximum, get her phone number, suggest going out for dinner or getting a coffee sometime, and then make your exit. Don't linger around. Don't leave the opportunity for things to become awkward. Better to leave an air of mystery and then save it for the date rather than ruin your chances. Whether you are dating in person or online, if you go into this with the wrong mindset, you are seriously hampering your chances of enjoying a successful, fulfilling dating life. For a modern gentleman, a lady should add to his life, but she shouldn't define it. You need to have the mindset that your life is already full. You feel happy with your work, your friends, your own discipline, and the man that you are becoming. And when you genuinely feel these things and you are proud of the man you are, she will feel that in your presence. Because attraction isn't just about physical features, especially for women. It's more energetic. Women can sense when a man has not only standards, but also when a man has other options. And there's nothing attractive about being committed purely to one woman because no other woman would touch you. You need to be committed to her purely out of your own devotion and love. As I said, I've used dating apps in the past. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, I've done them all. And I'm not opposed to going back on them in the future. But I have to say, all of my best dates, they've come from real life. Apps are fine now and then, and depending on where you're at in your life, where you're at geographically, they might be a really useful tool for you. But nothing compares to that spark and chemistry of meeting a woman in real life. Now, if dating is something that you are struggling with, or perhaps something that you've been avoiding altogether, then you might be interested in receiving my one-to-one help with your situation via my private mentorship program, the Gentleman's Institution. I help men build true confidence so they have an unforgettable presence in person and they are able to attract high-quality women. Not only is it through my one-to-one help, but also through an exclusive educational series and a small community of like-minded men, we can help you master dating as a modern gentleman, even if you're starting completely from zero. Because unlike many other dating coaches out there, I help men navigate dating with authenticity and class. I don't teach gimmicks, I don't teach pickup. I merely help men become the best they can be and help them advertise that and introduce it to potential partners. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you'll find the link down in the description to book a call with me where we can figure out a strategy for you. Dating apps can be convenient, but having presence in person, that is truly powerful. And ultimately, you want to become the man who can turn heads without swiping. And remember, women want to feel your presence. So get out there. You don't need the dating apps. You just need to focus on improving yourself and putting yourself in the right positions where you might meet the right person.